IRKHSSS Student Society 2021-2022 to deliver his speech. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Greetings to Brother Anas, the previous president, my mentor for IRKHSSS, my fellow Council of Chairpersons, my fellow IRKHSSS staff members, fellow guests, as well as our candidates for tonight. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome to the presidential debate in which we determine the future of IRKHS Student Society. Tonight, we will hear from two of our students who put their time, who put their best foot forward, inshallah, in trying to serve you, in trying to serve us as students of IRKHS IRKHS. There will be the torchbearers of your voices, whether in the student parliament and in the meetings with the administration of the kuliah. There will be those who bring your voices regarding any of your dissatisfactions or suggestions towards improving our kuliah, especially as we go forward in a post-pandemic world. My fellow brothers and sisters, I would like to implore you to engage in the democratic process of this kuliah. As such, I would like you to understand, to listen, to analyze, to criticize with empathy the manifestos that will be presented to you tonight, for in which these manifestos will determine our future, and we would like to have your input as students, as those who will be receiving the most benefits from these manifestos in the future. And as such, as I pass the torch to the next IRKHSSS president, I would like you to take part in this discourse. I would like you to ensure your leaders' commitment and the quality of their work to be higher than satisfactory, to be the best for our society. Because in the end, the ones who will be receiving the benefits will be you, but the ones who will be sacrificing their time and perhaps risking their academics and perhaps risking their sleep will be these presidents. So make sure their sacrifices are not in vain. What I mean by that is that they cannot do their best work without you providing your suggestions, without you voicing out your concerns, without you giving the most appropriate suggestions moving forward in our society. So make sure you involve yourself in improving their manifestos further, in making sure their sacrifices as the president next tenure will not be in vain. With that, let us all wish for the betterment of our tenure. Let us wish the best for the next phase of IRKHS Student Society, and may the best person win. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Brother Faris, for the wonderful speech officiating our event for today. Without further delay, we would like to invite our moderator for today, Brother Anas Hayyan bin Ahmad Zakwat. Also, our candidates for presidential seat, Brother Amir bin Muhammad Zubair and Sister Nur Husna binti Muhammad Khair to come to the stage. Please welcome.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. First of all, I would like to thank the President of IRKHSSS Society, Brother Faris. It has been 1 year since he was elected. So proud of the team, as well as Brother Iman, the Chairman of IRKHS Student Society's election, all committee members of IRKHSSS and the Election Commission, brothers and sisters. My name is Anas Hayyan, a graduate of Political Science, and I would like to welcome everyone to IRKHS Student Society's presidential debate. As everybody is aware, we are currently having the IRKHSSS election in which the students of AHAS IRKHS will be choosing who will be the representative at the Kuliah level as well as at the departmental level. Therefore, brothers and sisters, I believe that in ensuring the democracy, in flourishing our beloved Kuliah, today we will be seeing a debate by our next president of IRKHS Student Society. And as Brother Faris has mentioned as well, brothers and sisters, the responsibility of the president of the biggest Kuliah in IUM is massive. It is very, very big, and you will see who will be crowned as the fourth president of IRKHSSS tomorrow through election. Yeah, we have a lot of presidents before the election, but this one is number 4. Faris number 3, I'm number 2, Anis Farihah was number 1. And as we are anticipating for the election, I would like to ask everyone in this hall to keep the spirit up high. Do you agree that the president of the biggest Kuliah in IUM should be someone that is charismatic?
Yeah.
Do you agree that the president of the most iconic Kuliah in IUM should be knowledgeable? And do you agree that the president of our beloved Kuliah should be able to solve your problems? And that is why tonight we will have our both candidates. Number 1 on my left side, from the Department of Psychology, we have Sister Nurul Husna binti Muhammad Khairul. And on my right side, we have from the Department of Usuluddin and Comparative Religion, we have Brother Amir bin Muhammad Bukhari. Brothers and sisters, now I'll be explaining the format of our debate tonight. As we only have 2 candidates, there will be 5 rounds for tonight's debate. Very, very interesting. The first round would be manifesto presentation for 10 minutes by each of our candidates. And the second round would be question from me on Kuliah and administration level. There will be drawing 1 question from out of the 4 questions that I have prepared. Then they will be giving a speech for 10 minutes. And number 3, it is the questions and answer session from each candidate, meaning that Brother Amir could ask Sister Runa, and Sister Runa could ask Brother Amir. And also round 4 is the Q&A with the audience. So please scrutinize them well. I think I will give a lot of time for the candidates to grill your next president. Looking forward for that. And round 5 is the concluding remarks for 1.5 minutes each. And without further ado, in addition, there will be a timekeeper. Our sister is very kind to be the timekeeper today. Can you show maybe the differences? Okay, 5 minutes more, 3 minutes more, and 1 minute more. Okay. So I think that is very, very clear. Without further ado, we'd like to open the debate tonight by our candidate number 1, Sister Nurul Husna binti Muhammad Khairul. The floor is yours.
1, 2, 3, test. 1, 2, 3, test. Brothers and sisters, before I would like to start my manifesto presentation, I would like to ask you, if you're lost in a city, will you ask the residents or the outsider? Being in the IRKHSS Student Society in the current tenure helped me to see how I envision the future of IRKHSS to bring it to the new horizons. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Runa binti Muhammad Khairul from the Department of Psychology,
And here I would like to present to you about my manifesto. Okay, before I go into it, I would like to introduce you to the IRKHS Student Society. How I envision it. I see it as a service-based society rather than as a program-based. Okay, brothers and sisters, what do I mean by this? A service-based society means that it is a solution provider and facilitator. It focuses more on giving students services in terms of catering to their needs rather than organizing programs. So, because of IRKHS being a big kuliah, I'm pretty sure that this is what we need and not as a program-based society. So moving on to my first manifesto, which is to enhance the academic and welfare services through centralized utilities and collaborations with the secretariats. To have a manifesto, we need to have a problem. So where do I see this problem? It is to the lack of synchronization between IRKHS Student Society and the secretariats. To give you a better illustration, I will give you an example. Not all secretariats have the entrepreneurship council. So let's say we want to have an entrepreneurship fest. How IRKHS Student Society will want to communicate to these secretariats, especially those who do not have those entrepreneurship councils. So by this, brothers and sisters, this is why I would like to standardize the councils across IRKHS Student Society and all of the 10 secretariats to ensure open loop for easier communications, discussions, and problem solving. So this allows for a direct communication between the necessary councils and will prevent from miscommunication, lack of efficiency, and also redundancy to occur in the IRKHS Student Society and also between the secretariats. Next, for the services, I would like to have a central data for general access, central data drive. Okay. Where can I see that, how to expand this? Because we all know that the current tenure already have it. So where can we expand it? Is to reach out to more students, because I believe that when I ask here, when I ask that, students will be like, oh, this exists? Oh, I do not know that I can know from here. So this is where we need to improve, where we can see the expansion by reaching out to more students and by increasing their accessibility, by having monthly updates and reminders for students that these services exist. Because you already know that we have the link tree in our Instagram that will lead to the society's website. However, maybe because due to the loads of assignment and also exams, this information is kept at the back of their mind. So when they want to know where is it, they forgot about it. So what does this central drive what does the central drive contains? For academics, we will have study plans, credit hours, requirements, academic etiquettes, and so much more. And while for welfare, we will have information about scholarships, financial aids, zakat, and also any food banks that are accessible in and outside of IIUM. So from the current tenure, the example of initiatives that has been done is, I would take it from the Student Affairs and Welfare Council, where they make a one-stop information center for free e-counseling. So these brothers and sisters, I would like to remind you that as a service-based society, that doesn't mean that we only provide solutions, because truthfully, our powers are also limited. But what we can do is to lead you to other services, to lead you to other channels, to give you shortcuts at where you can find these services outside from the kuliah. So for where we can do these university level initiatives, we can strengthen relationship and communication between other kuliah-based societies, MRC, and also the student union. For the next manifesto, which is to accommodate and expand job opportunities for us IRKHS graduates. So for this one, I would like to provide a platform for students to enhance employability skills and entrepreneurship skills. So how to do this? I would like to strengthen relationships between IRKHS Student Society and the Counseling and Career Services Center. Why is this important? Because CCSC has what we call as tree study. Brothers and sisters, tree study is where they observe and can get feedbacks from graduate students about their careers. Okay, so from this case study, the data that I got is that employability of IRK students are higher as compared to HS students, and the mismatched jobs between HS students are higher than IRK students. Okay, from here, by having a strong collaboration with CCSE, we can know that by having this data, we know where we can solve this problem. And then for the next one will be to encourage secretariats to conduct niche-focused programs to boost their student skills and passions. This has been mentioned by secretaries from COSA, USI, ALA, ZESTA, and ELITS. So where does IRKHS comes into play? So we need to encourage them to provide them this platform to allow them to enhance their students more. So moving on to my last manifesto, which is to foster unity among the diverse IRKHS community. Brothers and sisters, I would like to reshape how you see diversity among us. When we say integration, the first thing that comes into mind will be local and international students, am I right? Okay, so for this, I would like to expand your view. I would like to have integration between HS and IRK students, between the IRKHS Student Society and the secretaries, between the departments, and if possible, between the students and the lecturers and the staff. So as IRKHS as a whole, I would like to have one union, one harmonious and peaceful kuliah where we can talk and we can easily discuss with one another about life and about academics and so on. Okay, so how can I do this? I don't want to give you a program-based solutions because programs are one of solutions. So I would like to provide you at a system base from the grassroots level, where we can provide by providing platform secretariats to collaborate with one another. This was mentioned by the chairperson of CUSA and also by COSA. And then I would also like to have an international affairs council because why is this important? By allowing them to be in the decision making, in the organization, they can see that they are needed by us, they are wanted. So with that, it can be easy for us to integrate with them at a larger scale. Brothers and sisters, I would like to make a major comparison between my manifesto and from Brothers Amir's manifesto. This is the impression that I got. Okay, my manifesto focused on a system-wide implementation, while Brother Amir's manifesto is a reactive case-by-case basis. So why is my manifestos are more efficient? Because problems should be solved at the grassroots level. By having programs, it won't solve all the problems at once. And then by having a system-wide implementation, every case, we know that every cases are individual, but answers can be standardized. By having these standardized answers, there won't be confusion among the secretariats, among the students, that where can I find this answer, where can I find this solution? Okay. And then reactive basis will be slower and less efficient. And the next one will be, mine will be service-based versus program-driven. And lastly will be the multi-dimensional integration and the limited viewpoint as compared to Brother Amir, who focuses only on international and local students. So, that is all for me. I am ready to bring IRKHSSS Kuliah towards the new horizon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sister Nur Husna. Her aim is to make IRKHS Student Society a service-based society. Now we will go to our next candidate, where he will be presenting his manifesto for also 10 minutes. Therefore, I would like to give the floor to Brother Amir Zulhidayat bin Muhammad Zubair.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. One more time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Okay. First of all, my name is Amir Zulhidayat bin Muhammad Zubair. I'm from Student and Cooperative Religion Department. And today, like you all know, I am going to present my manifesto. Okay, before we jump into my manifesto, how do I plan my manifesto? Okay, like brothers, sisters now mentioned, IRKHSSS is a service society, and like we all know, IRKHSSS is one of the oldest kuliah in our university. And before this, before COVID, before pandemic, IRKHSSS Student Society is one of the great society in IIUM. And if you ask me why I am contesting in this election, why I am contesting in IRKHSSS election, why not in my secretariat? Because I see that there is chance for us, for me to make IRKHSSS Student Society great again. But how? Okay, let me talk about my manifesto. Okay, you may get my manifesto on my social media, on various kind, IG, Twitter, on my Amir_. Okay, so for the first one, to revitalize communication between students and student leaders to enhance communication regarding welfare. Okay, what do I mean by revitalize the communication between student and student leaders here? Okay, before that, I want to clarify what is student leaders here. Okay, student leaders here in my context is the lineup of main board and the lineup of secretariat from each secretariat. Okay, so how do I revitalize? Okay, first is communication is the key, like we all know. So in order to revitalize the communication between student and student leaders, we have to have a good connection between the main board itself, the main board of IRKHSSS and the secretariat, so that the information from the kuliah, from our society is can get directly to the student with all means, like IRKHSSS also can disseminate information through secretariat, and the IRKHSSS also can disseminate directly through the student. Okay, that's on the first manifesto. Okay, and why I put the topic on top of my manifesto is to be clear on what I am going to emphasize on my manifesto. Okay, on the second one, which I think is a bit populist for me, but I think it is relevant. Okay, the second one is to nurture the holistic development of students that cater towards growth as healthy individuals. Okay, I think this is a little wordy, but what I am trying to say here is to have a shumul, to have a holistic development of students. Like we know that we have class from morning and to evening. We have class that cater intellectual part of our student life. But how do we balance as healthy individuals? Like it is for me it is individual part. But if there is no initiative, there is no programs that is provided by either secretariats or IRKHSSS itself, students may neglect on this part. So to achieve this manifesto, I have several initiatives. Like first one, I have Fit IRKHSSS that I developed with my circle of friends, that they suggest that to have a long term of sports program. It's not only about sports, but it also includes the chilling session, that relaxing our body, our mind from the intellectual part, from classes and related to that. Okay. And I do want to add, like before COVID, prior to COVID, we have also sports bureau, sports council in IRKHSSS. And due to COVID, the bureau has been removed due to some reasons. And if I am going to be president, I am going to reintroduce the sports bureau, but it's not only cater the sports, but also cater the community, sports and community bureau, like how we connect with the community. And for the last part of my manifesto is to bridge the gap between local and international students through integration efforts and initiative. Okay, I think this might sound cliche, like everyone, if every person that is contesting in either any election, they are focusing on how to break the gap, how to bridge the gap between local and international students. But some can't achieve because it takes a lot of effort to achieve that. So how I am going to bridge the gap? Okay, after some discussion with my friend from other country, they say that me or everyone that want to achieve this, want to bridge the gap, we have to connect with them. We have to connect. It's either individual on individual part, or if we want to see as a big picture, we have to come to them. To come to them as we as representative from IRKHSSS to connect with them as a country-based society, so that we can cater the communication that is miscommunicated. Okay, so uh, to conclude on my manifesto, I think it's doable, and I don't want to comment more on Sister Runa, maybe after this. So, I think back to Brother Anasayan. Thank you, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Brother Amir. We really want everyone in our kuliah to be a holistic individual, to revive the sports council that I removed before. All the best. And I would like to also welcome Dr. Zahid, the advisor of IRKHSSS Society. Thank you very much for being here with the students today. And brothers and sisters, now we will move on to our second round, which is the question from me, which I have prepared 4 questions, which they will draw from this box, and they will be given 1 minute to prepare a 10 minutes lecture, I would say, on the questions that I will prepared on the matters of the university and also the kuliah. So I think we will be starting with Sister Runa. You may come here and choose one. Brother Amir after this. Okay, now I will be reading the question for Sister Runa. The question goes as follows. Everyone could take note as well. Holistic student development initiative by the kuliah entail intellectual, educational, and social function of a university. How would you incorporate these functions into the services of IRKHSSS Society, which I think very suits in whatever that you're seeking for. So you'll be given 1 minute to prepare, and you may start.
the question is Holistic Student Development Initiative by the Kuliah until ISE, which stands for Intellectual, Educational and Social Function of a University. How would I incorporate these functions into the services of IRKHS Student Society? So brothers and sisters, I'm pretty sure that I have touched on this in my manifesto. So I'd like to break it down into the three functions. First, intellectual. Second, educational. And third, social. So for the international function of the university, I would like to I believe that it is incorporated to the academic services. How? Okay, so this is where we can use our connections to people inside and outside of the kuliah. Brothers and sisters, I would like to tell you that we have 4 communities in this IIUM and also outside of IIUM, and I would like to show you that these 2 communities, we can maximize their relationships with us, which is the scholars and the professionals. When we have these relationships with the scholars and professionals, we can include them more into our programs, into our services. How can I improve the students' academics in this? How can we integrate Islam in HS and IRK subjects? How can these discussions be moving forward to engage all the communities of all layers in the society? So that's for the intellectual part. For the educational part, I would like to say that it is in terms of dakwah and tarbiyah. I'm pretty sure that brothers and sisters here, you frequently hear about dakwah and tarbiyah, especially being in an Islamic university. Here I would like to ask you, have you ever heard of GSET? Have you ever heard of community engagement? So this is where the educational functions of the university can be done. So where does this community engagement comes into play? Through the GSET, which stands for Gombak Sejahtera Engagement Team, we will go to all the 7 kampungs outside of UIA, outside of IIUM, where we can have activities with the members of the community, where we can also there integrate with one another. We get to know about their hardships, we get to know about their problems, and there we can not only promote ourselves as good IIUM students, but also show that we are a holistic being. That we don't only focus on academics, but we also focus on the well-being of others. And so for the last part, which is the social function. For all the other functions, I believe that social is the easiest one to be continued because you cannot have any forms of relationships. You cannot have any forms of communication without being social. So, but then brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters, I would like to remind you that this social is in a good way. So how do we integrate with these communities? How do we integrate within our community itself? We cannot just focus on outside. To bring it to the outside, we first have to strengthen the foundation first. We have to ensure that our relationship first is strong and united. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Runa, for the explanation on how she would incorporate the functions of intellectual, social, and educational in the service of the IRKHS society. Now it's your turn, Brother Amir. You may come and draw one question from the box. The question goes as follows. How important is the mission of the Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman Kuliah of Islamic Arabic Knowledge and Human Sciences of integration of human sciences and Islamic Arabic knowledge to you as the president of IRKHSSS? So this question is asking about the number 1 mission of our Kuliah, which is on integration of human science and IRK, and how he, as the president, would put that as the utmost importance.
Hi. To answer the question of how important is the mission of IRKHSSS, integration of human sciences and Islamic revealed knowledge, to you as the president of IRKHSSS. First, we have to understand the integration of human sciences and Islamic revealed knowledge. I think most of you are from IRK and also human sciences student, right? Department. We both, me as IRK student, I also need to take introduction to human sciences subject. It's either from the communication, psychology, and so on. And also human sciences student need to take the kuliah-based kuliah subject. Like I also, before this, I am in class with Brother Anas, which he takes my subject on Usuluddin. So we as students, we are very familiar with the integration, meaning, and also the integration between human sciences and Islamic revealed knowledge. So as the president, the question is asking me about how do I view this as president of IRKHSSS. So the integration, the meaning of integration is to integrate, to combine two things and assimilate it. It's not just combining, but it's to come up with a new understanding. So the integration of human sciences and Islamic revealed knowledge, for me, is very important, because if we want to be balanced, to be a balanced student, to be a holistic student, we have to cater both. We have to integrate these both human sciences and IRK revealed knowledge, where human sciences is mostly related to the worldly. If you are going to ask me, it is mostly on the worldly matters, and the revealed knowledge is mostly on the hereafter matters. But when we integrate both of these, we have a new view on how we see the world. Like if I am going to quote our rector, deputy rector, sorry, Dr. Zulkifli Tansri. So he come up with a Tawhidic worldview where we combine both the human sciences and revealed knowledge to have a complete view on the world. So integration of human sciences and Islamic revealed knowledge is very significant and very important to us. Like I think human sciences students also need to cater on the Islamic part, where I think for me, we have to have the sense of Islamization of knowledge. It's not just we have to understand the subject based on Islamic perspective, but we have to Islamize it on our view, and reveal knowledge student, IRK student need to reveal. If we look at the second part of mission, okay, second part of IRKHSSS mission is to revelation of reveal knowledge. So we are not just going to study on reveal knowledge, which some of it are very, it's not outdated, but it's not so fit to our time right now. So IRK students need to relate it to the modern time to have a better sense, to have a better worldview on how to lead the world, on how to communicate with others. So with that, I strongly believe that integration of human sciences and Islamic revealed knowledge is very important to us. It's regardless as a president or as a student, I believe this is very important for us to actually have a foundation in this world. As a student, as an intellectual, or as a server. I think that's all from me. Thank you. And so,
Thank you very much, Brother Amir. I didn't know you were my classmate. I think that is the beauty. Even I'm a political science student, I could attend Usuluddin classes, and vice versa. Usuluddin could enter political science courses. You may take your time because you'll be asking Sister Runa after this. For our third question, our third round, just questions from each candidate. And so I will give you maybe 1 minute for you to prepare questions. Then you will be posing your questions to Sister Runa for her to answer in 10 minutes. And in this round, you could interject anytime you want when she is speaking, as well as when he is speaking, you could interject anytime to ask your questions more in 10 minutes. Brother Amir, you may pose your questions to Sister Runa.
Assalamualaikum. To Sister Runa. Okay, looking at all your manifestos, are all these manifestos from you actually come from the student? Meaning, is this promise actually what the students want, or it entirely comes from your experience being in IRKHSSS? Yeah, because I can assure you, I can assure you, my promise to bring sports into this field is something that I know and listen from normal students who are not necessarily into intellectualism, not activism, yet their demand are largely ignored. Okay. Sure.
That's, I would say, a good question for you to ask, considering that I am one of the committees for sports league. Okay, so to answer the question, which is, are the manifestos come from me or from the students or from my experience from being in IRKHS Student Society? I would say that it's a combination of all. Because I also a student, and also as a staff member of the current IRKHS Student Society, I can see where we can improve this. Why does this happen? Why don't the current chairperson, why don't the current main boss do this instead? So I can see that. That is from my experience being in the tenure. From my experience as a student itself, I can see as, because like, I want to have this, I want to have that, but I don't have it. And then from the students, I do ask around. I go to HS Dry area, I go to my friends from IRK, I go to HSKP, I go to the even to the one-stop center to know where can I improve. What do you want? How can I help? So so you're saying that students don't have any sports programs. I would like to give you the statistics from Sports Day. The participation from IRKHSSS students itself are very low. They have to import students from other kuliah to make up the numbers of the group. And even that, not all secretariats send representatives for all games. The only secretariat that send for all games are UTSI. The only one. So I think that will answer about your sports manifesto. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for answering. And to clarify, I am also from UC, which I am very proud because my team enter all the sports. Okay. The only one, sorry. Okay. So the second question, how strategic is your plan to foster on your term manifesto is to foster the essence of unity among diverse of IRKHSSS. So how do you foster this? How do you foster the essence? And to have the sense of belonging in the diverse of IRKHSSS students.
First of all, I would like to thank you for asking that because it will help me a lot. Okay, so how I foster it? Okay, brothers and sisters, I believe that for us to integrate, you must see the needs of the students first. You must meet their basic necessities first. Their welfare, their academic status. Do they have food to eat? Do they have clothes to eat? Are their facilities back at home, back at Mahala, in the kuliah itself, are enough, are sustainable for them to have a comfortable learning environment. So, in order to have that integration, I believe that, one minute, not 1 minute, for a while. I believe that we have to build that trust first. By how do we build this trust? Is by providing them the welfare services and excellent academic services, and that is for locals. For internationals, sadly, I'm also not really advocate at that part. However, we can collaborate with international-based societies such as World Assembly of Muslim Youth, WAMI, NIPRES, and also International Unity, where we can ask them for help because that is what I have been told. They are looking for us. In the sense that we need them, they also need us. So we should be the one to approach them. As Brother Hassan has mentioned in my manifesto breakdown, if you have missed, the main barrier of integration is shyness. The locals or the HS or the IRK, everyone, I would say that everyone is shy to approach the other person. So what can you do to barricade this obstacle? Just say hi, just say assalamualaikum. Give praises, give compliments. Hey, you look good today. Hey, your dress is nice. Just do that. That is the first step of integration, which I believe that is actually a self-initiative that shouldn't be reminded by people. But as a president of as a future president of IRKHS, I will say that people will see me as their role model. So I myself have to do that first. So that's all for me.
The last question, okay, you mentioned about GSET, and I think you are very familiar. So, what is your plan on how to assimilate and attract students to join this venture?
Okay, for GSET, what I'm planning to do is to promote it in a sense that it will benefit them, because well, we won't join something if we don't see any benefits to us. We will only join programs that we see, oh, I can get something from this. I can get value from this. I can improve my skills from this. So from this, what we can break it down in is in terms of soft skills, in terms of even graduate employability skills. Because in this, you will have to communicate, you will have to engage, you have to organize your programs, you have to, I would say that DSET alone touches on many aspects of skills that it can be improved on, and which for you to attract people to come to join it, you have to show them this is what we do, this is what we can offer for you, and this will look good in your resume. So I hope that answers.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Runa, for the question, and Brother Amir for the vice versa. Okay, now, Sister Runa, I'll give you 1 minute to prepare for your questions to Brother Amir, and then after 1 minute, you will be asking your questions, and the 10 minutes will start. Okay?
Okay, Brother Amir, I'm pretty sure this is what people has been asking, because it has been, I've been told about this many times. As the president of a kuliah-based society, where kuliah main focus will be the academics, why do you not address it in your manifesto? Considering that even our kuliah slogan is advancing holistic academia and society. So why do you not address about the academic concerns in your manifesto? Thank you.
Okay, to answer this, okay, my manifesto is on how I can come up with a new things. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to touch, I'm not going to cater on the academic part, because this is very essential to us. Like every secretary that every society in our kuliah is very attentive on this. And to relate this, the first manifesto on my part is welfare, where it's not about the welfare of students, but the well-being of students. And this cater the holistic part of student, which is academic and welfare part. So I am not going to left this academic part, which I am also very concerned about this, because some students are not joining our society, are not active in society because they are focusing on their academic. But students need to be active in society also to have a good representative when they are working later. Because
If I may,
yeah.
I'm not saying that you're not emphasizing on the students' enhancement. I'm just asking you, why are you not addressing the academics? Consider that you can just mention that you're prioritizing academics and welfare instead of just mentioning welfare, because all of us, I'm pretty sure we don't associate them with one another. Am Am I right, brothers and sisters?
Okay. So yeah, for me, academic is very important, like you said. Okay. And why I am not mentioning, because I think for me it is a common sense for students to be very attentive to their academic. So if I am going to cater on welfare, I am going to solve on their academic part, where their lack of the information on academic. So yeah, that's my answer to your question.
I think if I were to even, it would be redundant, but okay, let's move on. After your first manifesto, will be on the execution. How are you planning to execute your revitalization of communication? Because you already have the platform. So how are you planning to do it? Does the past tenure cannot easily communicate with one another?
Yeah. Okay. There have been the platform. I believe that you are also working in a software committee with Sister Iman. So, okay. So these are mechanism. These are the platform are only the mechanism. But how efficient is the mechanism? Is it we have to introduce another mechanism to reach the student, or we only need to have a good connection with secretariat? Because if we do another mechanism, if we do another platform, uh, if the information is not going to reach the student, then what's the point of doing another mechanism, right? So to have a good connection, that's why I emphasize on to have a good connection with secretariat, between the secretariat and IRKHSSS is actually a good part, where we don't have to have a redundant work like okay. So it's not about a mechanism, but how we execute it in context of relationship between each other. So when we deliver the information between from the kuliah, so we have to have a centralized formation that is documented black and white. It's either online or physical, so that the secretary, when they receive information, they don't have to filter, they don't have to reword it to delegate to disseminate to the student. Yeah.
The next question will be on your sports manifesto. In it, you mentioned that sports are needed to nurture holistic development of students. So why does holistic here is being symbolized by sports only? That's why. And then if you want a holistic development, okay, for sports, what I'm imagining is that you want to have programs, sports related programs, right? But then programs are actually can be a hit or miss solution. That's one. The effects of a program won't last long. That's two. And then if we were to have this continuous sports program, it will deviate from the nature of IRKHS in the first place. So,
Okay. Okay. In my manifesto, uh, I say that to nurture the holistic development, because sports, yeah, sports is only mechanism, like you say that is if it's only going to be conducted in term of program, so it won't be last long. So okay, the holistic development. Why I touch upon the sports part, because I believe okay, from Arabic saying aklu salim fi jismi salim. Uh, uh, Aklu salim, which means a good akal, depends on a good body. So to have a good development, to have a holistic development, we have to be balanced on both parts. we have to be balanced on academic, and we have to be balanced on our physics, on our physical part. So it's not only sports on my manifesto. I'm not going to have a long-term program, or even a short-term program to execute my manifesto. But it's actually maybe we can have a collaboration, so we don't have a redundant program with another society, and also we as IRKHSSS Student Society, yeah, it's a bit uh, pelik actually. It's a bit pelik if we are going only to focus more on sports, because yeah, we as a student society, we cater the holistic part of the student, and it also includes the sports part. It also includes on the physical part. So for me, sports is important, but the long-term program is only a mechanism. And to have a good understand on this, we have to be active. It's either on program to have a program, or to be active when ending. Yeah.
So thank you for answering that. 1 minute more. For this, I would like to be quick. How do you plan in your integration efforts and initiatives? What are your execution?
Okay. To be short, what my plan on this integration part between local and international student. Okay. It's not I am flexing, but I do have a good connection, good relationship with my international friend, because my circle is not only local student, like we have classmates. But to execute this, we have to have a good connection with it's either international-based society or country-based society, to attract them to work with us, not for us, because we IRKHSSS is a major society in IIUM, so we have a good, actually a good attraction to work with them, so that integration effort to bridge the gap is very it's very relevant to achieve this. Yes, to have a good connection between both, it's either individual or society, between societies.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Amir, for the answer, and Sister Runa for the question. That marks the end of round 3, brothers and sisters. We're moving on to round 4, which is the Q&A with the audience. Just a little announcement that one of these will be the 10th president of IRKHSSS Society. So not only that we have PMX, we will be having President X as well tomorrow. Yeah? So we will be having question and answer with the audience. There are 2 mics, one this side and another one this side. They may come up and pose a question to any of the candidates. Please mention your name, which department are you from, and the question to any of the candidates. Okay, Brother Faris, we will be starting the session.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Faris. I'm from the Department of Psychology. I'm also the president of IRKHSSS. I noticed both of you have tried to expand, or at least propose to expand our services, welfare, academic services, community service, etc. We've been trying to do that for the past few tenures as well, in our own capacity. We've tried to venture many different areas of services that we can provide, and as one of the person who have seen the tenure in an online setting as well as a physical setting, saying it now, the main issue is not the number of services. It's not what we have. It's the turnout, I would say. So the main issue has always been, I've learned this from my experiences, not only in Anas' tenure, but also in my own tenure, is that the core issue is always engagement. You could have a massive sports day event with little people from your kuliah joining. Or you could create a constantly available, I would say, academic help desk and welfare help desk, but no one to fill in the Google form. You could create a seminar with Tan Sri Kamal Hassan, but still not a lot of people would know about that effort. So especially in transitioning, as part of a transitioning tenure, I've seen engagement efforts, the need for engagement efforts to be improved. So my question is, I would like to hear specific examples, specific mechanisms for both candidates on how you would engage with the students. So take into account the physical context of our tenure, take into account despite our banger of the social media in terms of our Instagram, or thanks to IPCC, take all that into context and craft perhaps a creative solution to engage with the students, to let them know of the abundant services, holistic services that we have. That's my question. Thank you.
We will start with Brother Amir, if he may.
Assalamualaikum. To answer the question of Brother Faris, it's how we expand the services and come up with a specific mechanism to engage with students, right? Okay. For me, I have thought about this because if we look at our student in our IRUM, if we look at the voters, if we take example at the voters of the recent before this IRUM SU election, the voters also, I think it's not. For me, I am expect more from the student to come out to vote. And with this example, we can see that students right now are not too active in society, and how we can engage with them to expand our service. I think for me, I am active in sport, and I believe that they are sport activists, and they say that they actually are not only sport activists, but they are also a unity agent. Like if we look, okay, right now tonight we also have football match between Malaysia and I think another country, and okay, Malaysia and yeah. So with sport we can unite people regardless of the region, regardless of the races, regardless of any states. And I believe from sports, with if you look sports, maybe some people see sports as a small things, but for me, sports is one of the mechanism to engage with the student, to connect with them. And from my experience, I gain my connection. I get many friends from playing sports because sports is for me, we doesn't have any barrier. We don't have any gap to communicate. So to come up with a specific mechanism, if to have a sports activities, it's not events, but the long-term activities like we have futsal. If we look at Harmony IIUM, we have weekend futsal to connect with the students from the society itself. And we can assimilate these in our society, in our kuliah this society, IRKHSSS. And I think sports can play a vital role to unite, to engage with the student. Yes, that's for me.
Okay, Sister Runa, your turn.
Okay, this is something that has been troubling Stockport as well. How to engage with students, how to let our message reach to them, because that's the main problem currently. Because some students do not receive that message. Maybe they just mark as read on their WhatsApp group chat. Maybe they just pass, tick at the icon to make it to the last message. So for what I can see that if I were to give examples of what the past tenure has done, for example, for East Drive, I do not see it frequently not to say it is frequently updated, but it is not to the public. As in like, we are not told, oh, the East Drive has been updated with this. So when the time has passed, people will forget the existence of the East Drive itself. That goes for the help desk, for the East and stuff like help desk, for the IRKHSSS confession also. That has happened to us before. So what I suggest is to have QR codes at the one-stop center board where students can easily pass through, and then if they have answers, we have their, not to say solutions, we have their answers on the board already. That is for one, because it is the one-stop center board is, I believe it's somewhere that many people frequented the hallways. So also in the boards in IRK, of course, that is for one. And two, we can attach links to this drive in all viral messages that will be shared. And then for three, we can compile all initiatives, all efforts, all services in one drive. So it will be more accessible. It can be easily, not to say, it is easily accessed, and then it can easily be found by students because everything is in one place. They don't need to look out for here, oh, where's the drive for this, where's the drive for that. They only need to search it in one drive only. Okay, and this is what I have been saying in my manifesto, which is to collaborate with the secretariats. By having the central academic and welfare services in collaboration with the secretariats also need to play their part in sharing the messages to their students. So the students do not need to confuse with them. Where can they find the drive for this secretariat? Where can they find the drive for this secretariat? Because all of those are in one place only. So it will be easier for them, even like if your friends from other departments or you ask you, where can I find this? You yourself can give that answer. And lastly will be to have frequent updates and reminders that we do have, but then tell to the students, hey, we have this update on here, we have this update in here, we do this in here, we are updating this information in here. So that's all from me, thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Runa and Brother Amir. So the first question was on boosting the engagement and participation. I open up for more questions. Please line up in this two. We'll take few questions in one go, so you can line up. Brother, what's up? You can ask.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mr. Amir from Department of Psychology. My question goes to Brother Anas and Sister Runa. Brother Amir.
Sorry.
Brother Amir and Sister Runa. Sorry. My question is, as a kuliah in the society, there are certain bureaucratic process, high bureaucratic process that a president will have to go through, such as a demand for approval or budget and so on. So, as a president, how the president of IRKHSSS function to ensure cohesiveness and efficiency between the kuliah management? So yeah, Brother Amir and Sister Runa, how you cater on the bureaucratic process with the kuliah? So and also to fulfill the demand from the students and the kuliah. So like the students have a different demand from the kuliah, and kuliah doesn't approve what the students want. Right?
Okay, Sister Atira.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To both candidate Brother Amir and also Sister Nurul Husna. My name is Nur Atira, the Deputy President for Gombak IM Studi Union. I have a question to both candidates. Since I believe tonight we have a presidential debate, so we don't settle for mediocre. And I also believe that running for this position, you guys are ready to take larger responsibility because your responsibility does not restrict it to Kuliah only, but also to IIM community at large. So my question would be, how would you, as the president of IRKHSSS, would exercise your duty in the student parliament in bona fide the best interests of the students of IRKHS? How would you ensure that your decision in the student parliament bring benefits to the students of your kuliah? And how would you ensure that you will sustain the consistency of the responsibility? Because the issue here is that I believe the student of IRKHS, you elected your president. Other kuliah as well, they elected the president. The president is the legislative member of the student parliament, which we will amend law, we will enact law for the best interest of the students. But what happened if the president didn't come to the parliament? What happened if the president did not even think to collaborate with IM Student Union? That will be my first question regarding student parliament. The second question is that how would you, as the president of IRKHSSS, benefit from the resources of IM Student Union have? Because we have resources, we have the autonomy, larger autonomy in this campus, but how would IRKHS benefit from the resources and autonomy that Student Union have? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister Atira. Can I take one more from the floor?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ami, just can address me as Ami. So I'm currently serving in the Academic and Intellectual Council for our IRKHSSS. So I have my questions will revolve around academic and also intellectual matters. So first of all, with regards to academic concerns, I would say our biggest challenges right now would be to regarding the sustainability of our academic services that we are offering. For example, whenever we address certain questions or concerns from the students, we will often receive overlapping questions or redundant questions, but we will not receive the same answer. For example, when they reach out to ACE, Academic Council, for example, they will receive certain answer. But when they reach out to the academic rep of Secretariat, they will receive a different answer. So there is no standardization of this answer as we currently lack centralized data. So how would both of these candidates address this issue of sustainability of data? And second, regarding intellectual matters, I would like to know how would you guys in the long term want to empower intellectual development of our students in the kuliah? Okay, thank you.
Do we have another session?
We will have another round after this. Yes. So, thank you very much for the enthusiasm. For other students, you may prepare questions after this as well. Yeah, no worries. We will start with Sister Runa. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions on bureaucratic process, relation, parliamentary process, relation with IUSU, asymmetry information, and also the intellectual development of the students. Sister Timekeeper, I think we need to give them 5 minutes each. So you'll be given 5 minutes to answer these 5 questions.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First, to answer the question from Brother Musa from the Department of Psychology, which is how to ensure the cohesiveness and efficiency within the bureaucratic organization. So in here, we have to address these two stakeholders of IRKHS Student Society, which is the Kuliah Management and also the Secretariats. IRKHS Student Society act as a bridge between the Kuliah Management to the Secretariats, between the Secretariats to the students. Okay, so in terms of IRKHS to Secretariats, how will I ensure this cohesiveness, as mentioned in my first manifesto, which is to standardize councils. So in the standardization of councils, we would have a direct communication and line of comments between the council. This would not involve any unnecessary parties. So there will be less miscommunication. I won't say there will be no miscommunication at all, because that can easily happen. So by having these standardized councils, we can reduce the amount of miscommunication, we can reduce the amount of redundancy, we can increase efficiency. And why do we do this? Is so that we can solve the problems easier and better. So between the Kuliah Management and IRKHS Student Society, I would say that this is a hard question actually. How to do this would be to have frequent meetings with the Kuliah Management. This is to ensure that IRKHS Student Society and the Secretariats are on the same page as the Kuliah Management. Like you've mentioned, we want to do this program, but then the Kuliah would not allow it. I believe that the Kuliah has our best interest also in their mind. So why does the Kuliah does not allow it? Because I would say that because we are not on the same page. They have this objective that they want to achieve. We have this objective that we also want to achieve. So where can we find the middle ground? So that's where the frequent meetings come in place. So that's for Brother Mus'ab's question. And moving on to Sister Atira's question, which is how I exercise the duty of President of IRKHS Student Society in the Student Parliament with the interest of students itself. This has been in my mind for a long time. Being the President of IRKHS Student Society, like Sister Atira has mentioned, my responsibility does not only involve the Kuliah, it involves to students outside of the Kuliah. Also considering that IRKHS is in charge of university required courses. So how I exercise my power, which is to bring the voices of students into the student parliament. Which brings me to the second question, is how would I benefit from the resources and autonomy from student union? We can increase collaborations between the offices, between OCAP, between cooperation relations, between academics, between welfare. We have these channels, and now how can I maximize to use it? So for that, we have to first build a strong connection before we can maximize that relationship. And next to the last question, which is by Sister Amir, how to sustain the academic services, because we have overlapping and redundant questions, but there are no standardization of answers. This is also answered by my wish, my hope, to standardize all the councils so that the committees in the councils can sit down and can discuss with one another how to address this problem. So they will need to have third parties to meddle in their decision. They can have an open door policy in order to address the issues at hand. And lastly, how to empower intellectual events. For this, like I've mentioned before, we have two committees, which is scholars and professionals, where we can ask for them, we can reach out to them to help us in terms of giving us insights, giving us talks and seminars and workshops that can be done to increase our intellectual experts. That is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Runa. Brother Amir, you have 5 minutes.
So the first question from Brother Musa. Okay. How I am, as the president of IRKHSSS function, to ensure consistence and efficiency between kuliah management and IRKHSSS and secretariat. Okay. On the simple part, which is IRKHSSS and secretariat, which only involve the student. So yeah, it's to solve that, to ensure the cohesiveness and efficiency is to have a good connection, is to have a frequent meet up, frequent meeting and a follow-up meeting. Like if we have problem, we should address this in a meeting and we have a follow-up meeting to uh, to to make sure that if the solution is efficient or not. And on the kuliah management with IRKHSSS and secretariat, yes, it's a very hard part. But to address this issue, to solve this issue, is also to have a good meet-up because, like you all know, communication is the key. Yeah, if we don't communicate well, if we don't uh, contact them well, connect with them, we cannot address this issue in our problem, in our nature. So they can understand, like if we address, if we want to do a program, but they decline it because of some reason, but we don't know, then we only make rumors about it why kuliah decline it. But maybe on some part, they actually reject it because of some minor issue. So by meeting with them, by communicating well with them, we can solve this issue to have a cohesive and efficient connection. Yes. Next on to answer Sister Atira's questions, how to ensure as a parliament in bringing benefit to students and sustain the responsibility. Yes. As a president of Kuliah Business Society, and especially in IRKHSSS, actually before this IRKHSSS president is also the chairperson of KBSC mostly. So to bring benefit to the student, not only student from our kuliah IRKHS and the voices of students from kuliahs is uh, is to get uh, uh, to get to frequent connect with other president to address this issue. And as the president, we have to have a vibrant characteristic, have a charismatic, so that if we are sitting in the parliament, we are not only listen, but we only listen and understand the nature. It's not we have when we listen we have to ask questions, but we listen and we come up with a better solution if there is a problem, and listen to connect and to address this issue in our KBS between another presidents. Okay. And okay, to benefit from SU resources, yeah, we all know that SU stand alone. They are not actually under the kuliah's management under UAE. So SU have many resources, like they have manpower, they have other related resources. So to benefit this, okay, we can also get manpower from them to conduct program, and also we have chances to collaborate with them. Okay, and the last two questions from Sister Ayuni, sorry, the sustainability of data, the data. Okay, so before this, I mentioned about the standardization of the of information. Like we should have this standardization of data so that we don't have to make another kind of information to disseminate to student. So it's easier to disseminate to the secretariat and student. And on intellectual development, we can also benefit from the SU to have program of that and to touch upon on the intellectual part.
Okay, thank you to both of our candidates. Now, the third round of questions. Please queue up. Sister.
Okay, hi, my name is Runa and I'm from Department of Institution and Comparative Religion. So I have two questions. The first question is for Amir. Okay. In your manifesto, you say about the bridge the gap between the local and international students, right? And then you say that you have a connection, right? Okay, I know. Okay, let's say if Sister Husna also have connection, and then what your specific plan to do in bridge the gap between the local and international students? And then if you say you have the connection, it was your special, it was like your individual opportunity. But what you can do for the society, okay? And then for second question is for Husna. In your manifesto, you say about the career path. Okay, I noticed that, I don't know, about career path that you also link with the CCSC. Okay? And then here my concern is, before this, I also invite the CCSC's career path. And then, yeah, I can see a lot of company and organization for other kuliah and other course. But what about the IRK student? What about the organization or company? Because I'm from the IRK student and I don't even know what kind of company or what kind of work that I can look after that. So it was my concern. And even I can see there's a lot of HS students asking, and I'm the only one IRK right now, so I want to know about that. Okay, thank you.
Brother, 30 seconds.
Right. Okay. So I will just straight away go to the questions. Okay. So I have two questions. So first for the Amir, second for the Rusna. So first I would like to ask Brother Amir Zudayat. So Sister Husna has said to us that her vision is to make the society as a service-based society. So I would like to know how you envision your role and how would you like to direct this society. I mean, what is your mechanism? What is your vision for this society? That's the first. Second, I would like to ask you is that saying that you know, because your manifesto is about sports, right? Yes, it is presented. So I would like to ask, is it you present sports as your manifesto because of personal preferences? Because from all I can hear is that you say that you have friends that is sport activists and they wanted to have sports. And so, are you using this platform of IRKHSSS to manifest your personal preferences? Okay. And then for Sister Husna, knowing that you are from the from the previous tenure and you handled the sports day, which received quite some backlash. So I would like to know, how do you plan or how do you think you can improve the situation? Like, what do you think specifically is the problem and how do you address it?
Okay, next question.
Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Fatima Idayu, trader Spesam for Suna. I have one question. Look at the data of the employability and marketability of our students, IRKHSSS specifically. So it is very low, like 5 years it turns out very, very decreasing, So I want to know what both of you plans to increase the marketability and employability of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Brother William.
Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Ulin from Indonesia. Sadly, we only have two international friends here, Husnul and me. Is there any other from other than Malaysia? You're from? Yeah. So it is our sad reality that this very huge, should be huge event. It's a presidential debate. Yet it's not a threat to any international students, and IRKHSSS is one of the big faculty that has most international students. Itu satu. Since we are all like Nusantara and Melayu, allow me to speak both English and Melayu and maybe some Indonesian. First one, it is very sad. Tadi kalau tak silap, Runa saying, yeah, I'm not really put too much attention or effort or regarding our international friends. So it is very sad. If you are having some kind of conversation, chats, sorry, curhat ini. You can talk to all the international students previously, before this. We've talked with Faris about the visa issues, about the academic matters, which sadly also not catered by Brother Amir. Is not putting that much attention to academic. It is important. Yeah, we need to sit more with them, with me, with us, since we are all actually united as one, as a whole. It's not like local and international always like have the disconnected. It is always unity. So please, I have many notes actually regarding your Islamization of knowledge, what you mean by Islamization of knowledge, what is holistic, you mention holistic all the time, but what it is really mean. But okay lah, that one already nanti boleh bincang lagi. The main issue is the international part. It is really concerning you guys both are not put much attention on this issue. So please have a discussion more, duduk lagi, talk in unity, talk with the international officer in SU, and we are pretty much welcome and open for everyone to talk with us and we can work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Brother William. We have quite a few questions for both of you. So another 3 minutes. Sister Fatia, okay, I know your name now. For 3 minutes for each candidate, we'll start with Sister Runa.
I only have 3 minutes. I need to do this part. So, Sister Iman, you mentioned about career path for IRKHSSS students. So this is why I would like to have this establishment of relationship with the secretariat, so that the secretariats can focus on having a niche-focused programs, niche-focused career workshops that will also attract the companies that cater to your job employability. So how can we do this? Is by having, because CCSC already have their contacts. So by having this link to CCSC, we can employ their contacts to contact to the companies out there. That's for Sister Iman. And then for Brother Irfan, how do I plan to improve the situation for sports day? So in order to do this, I first need to analyze the problems that happens in sports day. I would say that it is a top-down problem, because the communication between the committees itself is lacking. And I myself as a committee, I admit that the delegation of tasks can be improved. And then I would say that the spread of announcement, the spread of information to the students definitely have to improve. That's for Brother Irfan's question. Directing to Sister Fatima's question about the decreasing employability, that's why I want to say that I want to have this strong linkage with CCSC and if possible with external relations such as graduates, such as the NGOs out there, such as the big GLCs out there, so that we can attract them to attend here, to open their own career fest, to open their own job fest for our IRKHSSS students. And then lastly for Brother Yin, is it? Uli. Okay, sorry, I'm very sorry for mispronouncing your name because I didn't hear it correctly. Maybe it is my fault for not properly addressing, but I've talked with students from Indonesia, such as Nafal and Umam. Yeah, I've talked with them. I've talked with Brother Hassan, the president of Libras. I've talked with Aisha Arish, our own Staffwell member. I've talked with Brother Luffy Montin on how can we improve this integration. Sorry. Brother Luffy on how we can improve this integration between locals and international students, and it lies on us providing service on how you can adapt here, on how we can help you solve the visa issues, your document issues, and that has been done in this current tenure with the help of Sister Aisha Arif. And yes, I'm looking forward to more discussions regarding international affairs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister Runa. Brother Amir, you have 3 minutes to answer the question.
The first question from Sister Iman, to break the gap, what can I do for this society? And it's actually related to Brother Ulin question, where I myself, as a student, I see that we actually sit in the same environment with regardless of local or international student, because we are sitting in the same class. But when the class ended, we didn't communicate because we didn't have the same interest. But for me, I actually have some students that from the country that I have been in the same group of students, and they say that they want to be friends with local students, but the problem is they both students from local and international are mainly, I think, shy or doesn't know how to start a conversation. And for me, to break the gap is to communicate well in class. Even like if we sitting in the class, we discuss on our academic well, so that we can know our common interests. And after class, and we should have a lunch session with them, and that's on informal part. And in formal part, we can attract, we can invite our friend. After we make friends with them, we invite them to have to be in our IRKHSSS council. Like we don't have to be to have a specific council like international council, because I think for me, international council, if we do in our society, it's very seasonal. Like the interest will go, but it's better to have people from various countries in many councils. Okay. And questions from Rabbi Irfan. Okay, my mission, and am I using IRKHSSS as personal agenda? Like, right? Okay. For me, I am not using because okay. Because I see myself, I see my goals, and IRKHSSS can be in line to the next tenure. Because my vision is to make IRK great again, like prior to COVID, as we are very active. We are the leading the way. We are leading the way to another kuliah. Yes. And the marketability, to answer that, is to attract a company to have a good session with us, and other kuliah have a specific companies to increase their marketability. But we, as IRKHSSS, we are very confused on what field we can enter. So we have to know the companies that want us, so that we can increase our marketability, like what we can add plus our plus point to our CV.
10 seconds.
Yes, for me, I think my mission is to make IRKHSSS great again.
Okay, thank you very much for the answers, both of you. That was a grilling sessions by our voters themselves to get to know more about the next president of the IRKHSSS Student Society. We have ended the Q&A rounds. Any more questions? Yep. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Just straight to the question, both of you. Only 2 hours.
Yes. Okay, hi, everyone. So I have the question is, they have a growing concern on voters, basically voters now lah. And in the bigger picture, participation in campus politics, we can trace back its national politics, right? So how do you, as a president of IRKHSSS, I think the student union in Malaysia will be on 5 or 6 June or May next year, right? So what are your initiative or plans to involve the students participate more in campus politics or national politics, or the awareness towards it?
Thank you, Brother Nabil. Brother Amir.
Assalamualaikum. My name is okay, my question, I heard just in the briefly mentioned about the Islamization and the dark water, but I would like to know, as an IRK student, I would like to know what are your plans, exactly what you have in mind in terms of the implementation of the Islamization, not only integrating between the HS and the IRK subject, but there are some growing concerns from the student and from the kuliah also about the deteriorating values, the Islamic values. So what do you have in mind exactly to improve the Islamic culture between the IRK student to expect, and then be maybe in the future to be the role model for other kuliah? Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. So I think the concern of the IRKHSSS movement is also to continue the legacy. So I want to ask you guys, what do you think is the factor in the low candidate turnout in this election? Thank you.
Okay, no more questions after this, yeah? Everyone has asked the question. So this is the last round for answering the question from the audience. I will only give 1.5 minutes. That one can be done after, yeah? Around the outside. Brother Amir, you may start.
Thank you, President Nabil, for asking the question on voters turnout increase plan. So, recent years, our voters have been deteriorated, have been decreased. And what's my plan on this? Is to have EC, election commission. This is my plan. I'm suggesting that you have to reach. It's not only Kuliah Society, but you have to reach the secretariat, because for me, I am very close to my secretariat. Not KBS right now. So to reach secretariat is a good effort to increase the voter turnout. And to answer Sister Hajar question, factor low candidate turnout, which relate to your question, why the candidate falling down, the numbers are falling down because the activeness of students in society contribute to the low turnout voters, because students are not active in society. So why they should put their interest in society to elect a new president, regardless of Kuliah Society or IRKHSSS. And the question from Brother Amar, Islamization and deteriorating of values. Yes, for me, in IRK, we are studying Islamic subject, and for me, it's not a problem on the Islamization part, because Islamization is a very subjective part, and for me, Islamization is not how we see it's how we see the thing on Islamic perspective is the essence of Islam in that thing. So I want to touch about human sciences. So yeah, we learn. I learned about political science in pro, and I see this is a very good subject, but I can mainly relate to the Islamization part because it's only helped me only to see it the subject on Islamic perspective, not Islamization, and how to realize it to make it relax to our world, to make it connect with the modern time. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Brother Amir. Sister Runa, your 1 minute and a half.
Okay, so considering that Sister Hajar's and Brother Nabil's questions are interrelated, I will first answer Sister Hajar's question first and then lead to Brother Nabil. Why is the turnout voting for the voting process is low? I believe that this is because of the internalization of the stigma outside of the campus, mainly the national politics itself. Because outside we we say that we are new voters, so when we're outside, we're told not to be involved in politics. We're not to be actively involved in politics. We have to be like shush about it. We have to be quiet about it. We cannot be voicing it out loud to other people about our political stance, our political views, and so on. So this culture outside is brought into campus politics, which makes it harder for us to advocate for others to exercise their voting rights, considering that even outside they have this kind of view. So how can we change this? First, we have to show them how is it important, or how does it affect them, and are they, how do they play a role in this voting process? How their voices can affect their future. That's for one. And then for Brother Ahmad's question, which is the implementation of Islamization in the IRKHS and the deteriorating Islamic values. Okay, for this, I would say that this is the main mission of AHAS IRKHS, with the integration of IRK and HS students, with the integration of IRK and HS knowledge. So in what I see is that IRK needs HS needs IRK, because our HS needs to be Islamicized, while IRK needs to be relevantized with the help of HS knowledge. So how does this deteriorate among others? I would say that because others do not see the value of Islam, even though we as Muslims ourselves, we have to see that our religion encompasses all. So it's more on I would say it's more on an individual basis, and then it is a problem that can be solved little by little, slowly but surely.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Runa and Brother Amir. Brothers and sisters, thank you very much for your questions. Very quality questions, I would say. Now, on our fifth round, will be the concluding remarks by our next president of IRKHS Student Society. In 1 minute and 30 seconds, you may conclude your aspirations, your promises, and also what and how can you convince your friends to vote for you as the next president. We will start with Brother Amir, inshallah.
Okay, to conclude on my part, okay, I believe my manifesto is very achievable, regardless on the mechanism on what the mechanism that are going to be used or introduced. And for me, my vision is to make IRKHSSS student to be holistic. Okay, Brother Udin asked me about the holistic part. Okay, holistic part is where the both subject of world and hereafter is interconnected, where we are balanced on both sides. We are not balanced on worldly matters where it caters on the intellectual worldly knowledge and also physical part, but it also cater on the hereafter knowledge. Like that's why we have IRK and HS. Both are balance itself. because we have IRK which cater on hereafter and has also cater on the worldly matters. So it both interconnected. So I believe we can be holistic being, and in order to achieve that, uh, maybe you have maybe we have to have the knowledge in understanding that. And I think that's all from me. And don't forget to exercise your vote tomorrow because it is our responsibility, it is our amanah to vote. And I hope that our voters turnout tomorrow will be higher than the previous one. And thank you.
Sister Runa, your concluding remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Brothers and sisters, here I would like to remind you my vision for AHAS IRKHS, which is to make IRKHS Student Society as a service-based program. And here's what I'm ready to do for you, which are the academic and welfare services through career programs, graduate enhancement and employability, and also lastly on the integration of AHAS IRKHS students as a whole. So how I am improving the problems that currently residing in our kuliah will be at the grassroots level, will be at the systemic level where programs cannot solve it. And then here I'm ready to serve, I'm ready to bring AHAS IRKHS towards the new horizons. Thank you. That's all from me.
Can we give a round of applause to Brother Amir? Round of applause to Sister Runa. Thank you very much everyone that has joined us tonight in the IRKHS Student Society's presidential debate. Please be reminded that the voting period will be starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. You may access the Google form to vote, which could be accessed through the social media of IRKHS Student Society, as well as the QR code that has been placed around the kuliah, and the estimated time for the result announcement would be at 7 p.m. tomorrow. And to all candidates, please be reminded that the campaigning period will end at 11:59 p.m. and no more campaign after 12 a.m. So will you vote for the next chairperson of your secretariat tomorrow? Will you vote for the next president of your kuliah tomorrow? Can we reach 80% turnout voters? We will pray for the best for our kuliah, and with that, brothers and sisters, without representation, there will be no representation without participation. With that, I end the debate session with Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Brother Anas and our candidates for sharing your precious words and manifestos for the betterment of IRKHSSS. IRKHS Student Society. On behalf of the organizing committees, we would like to express our utmost gratitude to all the guests for making this event a success. I apologize for any shortcomings that occurred during this event. So let us have a photography session led by the photography team after this. With that, let's end our program with Tasbih Kafara and Surat Al-As. Before that, we would like to remind everyone to cast your vote, to cast your ballot for the best candidate that you prefer tomorrow at starting from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Right. So, right now, all